The hunter's entourage. While he is certainly a formidable specimen, the hunter doesn't work alone. A false god that revels in being worshipped needs his followers. They are divided into 3 categories: worshippers, squires, and acolytes. For worshippers, I wanted to design a costume that shrouded the wearer and allowed me to quickly create generic crowds of any size. These are the worshippers that have been allowed to come and witness the hunter in action, and if they end up as a sacrifice in the field, well, that's just a glorious bonus. There are a few types of worshippers that aren't anonymous. There are the scribes, who tattoo the stories of the hunter's conquests on their own skin. Also, what powerful and deadly killer doesn't have his share of groupies? The next group are the squires. The hunter is above carrying his own equipment, but there are many people willing to do anything to get even just a shred of his attention. The final group is the acolytes. These are the elite students of the hunter, and just as he imitates the predator he aspires to be, so do they. I opened up a survey, and out of several antediluvian predators, the winners were the Sabretooth cat, the direwolf, the titanoboa, or giant snake, the warthog, and bafflingly, the giant centipede. I started simply with silhouettes, trying to infuse the animal theme onto the human form. Then I gave them trophy skull masks and red feasting predator paint to match their mentor. To get a feel for them, I sketched out some portraits, again thinking about how their animal traits would influence their features. For the Sabretooth, I gave him that helmet that I originally designed for the hunter. Here, he's wrapped in the skin of his namesake, his primary weapon being claws held between the fingers. I wanted the direwolf to come across as a lone wanderer, patient and clever, wrapped in wolf fur. For the snake, while the titanoboa is her primary theme, I decided to pull references from other snakes as well, giving her a venomous theme, with a long poison needle, blowgun, and cobra hood hair. She wears a scale mail suit wrapped in snakeskin. The warthog is the bruiser. I like the idea of combining his immense size and brute force with vanity. He wears mammoth-toothed brass knuckles and displays his victories and wealth more than the rest. I wanted the centipede to be the least human, with an undignified squat, long limbs, and the probing fingers of a part-time scavenger. His cloak is lined with an endless supply of poisoned daggers, used both for killing and protection. I could have called it at this stage, but once everything can be seen at once, I like to be able to sit back and assess. I didn't hate them, they just weren't what I was imagining for this project. They were still too prehistoric, like cave people with skulls and skins. Looking back at my first sketches, there was something great about how unified they were, with just skulls, red paint, and dark bodies. They looked like a team and had a stronger visual identity. So I tried to recreate that, and it helped somewhat, but it still didn't solve the deeper issue. They were still primitive. For this project, I want to design a world that looks like it's been built by experts, by people who have learned and grown for centuries. While that's an impossible task, almost like asking a two-dimensional person to think about a cube, I can still try to vaguely swat at it. What I had designed was largely practical, when what I needed was design, the artistic and creative choices that emerged from different cultures solving local problems. Their costumes had to look like they came from a mysterious somewhere that had a visual language of its own. As this project goes on, I'll be establishing what these languages are, piece by piece. These are some of the first steps in that direction. I also wanted to imply more about their personality and skill set through pose and shape. The Sabretooth has more of a predatory hunch, with arms ready to be used in traversal just as much as attack. His skull helmet is now a mask with a priestly headdress. He is the hunter's favorite after all. For the direwolf, I leaned even harder into the lone wanderer archetype, like a vagabond from a Kurosawa film. I had designed this more abstracted wolf mask for another personal project, but it perfectly suited this character, so I'll just have to come up with a replacement one day. For the snake, I wasn't totally sold on the skull mask. Instead, I went with a fanged mouth mask for the lower half of her face. I thought her scaleskin suit actually worked, so I kept that. I just added more variation in the shape of the scales, enhanced her cobra hood, and braided her hair into a snake tail. I wanted the warthog to look even more like a big pile of wealth. He loves the rewards of the hunt more than the hunt itself, drawing the ire of the hunter. For the centipede, I thought obscuring him more would work better. An inhuman character like him should be shrouded in mystery. Circling back to update the worshippers, I wanted to get more literal. They are there to watch, but it's also dangerous. So they wear these large spiked baskets, first to hide their form, secondly to scare off predators with large eye markings, and finally with defensive spikes in case any large creatures get too close. For the Squires, I simplified them. These are people happy to serve their false god, and he is happy to be served. They bow down as they carry the hunter's burdens, hoping for some favor or blessing. I exposed more of the scribe's skin so he has more canvas on display, and simplified the groupie's outfit to be more in line with the visual language of the group. And there we have it, the hunter's entourage, his faithful followers worshipping the false god of the hunt. A huge thank you to my patrons, and a special shout out to my dragon tier, who get to vote on aspects of this series and get their name in the videos. If you'd like to support this project another way, you can pick up a copy of my personal art book or my previous visual story, Tellurian. In the event that none of those options float your boat, you can just do the usual stuff to YouTube or share Dead Gods with your friends. Thanks for joining. I'm excited to see where it's going to go, and I hope you are too. See you next time.